questions, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, both of you, for being here with us today. I have a question for Mr. Matkowski, excuse me. In light of these audit findings and the reports that we've been receiving from OIG and GAO, why did the Veterans Medical Centers not use the authority that they had to use non-VA care to send veterans out to the private sector? And was it that the VA did not want to spend the money to get the veterans off the electronic wait list? I don't think I yet understand what was the holdup. If this was an option, why wasn't it used more often, and why were people languishing on wait lists? Sure.
It's sort of actually a very complicated question, so if you don't mind, I'll try to break it down and then answer it. I think a couple of things, first of all. There is a historical context, right? So some years back, we were receiving a good deal of criticism for our use of non-VA care. And so historically, we have been criticized, and so maybe inappropriately, we overcorrected to use that less. I think that's part of it, that's not all of it. I think the other thing, as we are going to get better wait time data, as we improve the integrity of that reporting, we're going to have a better sense of where veterans are waiting for care. We started reporting another set of numbers last week, which was this prospective wait measure, right, which showed us veterans who were scheduled and were scheduled out longer. Historically, we have not looked at that either. So if we add those two factors, improve the integrity of our data so that we can have a sense of where veterans are waiting, and then look out, if you will, into the upcoming months where veterans are waiting, we can use that to help us determine where should we offer care to veterans. That's what we did with Accelerating Care. We took those numbers and said, this is your situation. These are your veterans that are waiting too long. You have VA resources. If you can get more out of them, great, do that. If you cannot, you have the authority in non-VA care, go. Tell us how much you need, right? We haven't done that before. We have not really married up waiting time information with our use of non-VA. Going forward, we're going to.
Well, I think that was my biggest concern, and maybe Mr. Williamson, you could comment on your report, but it appeared to me that you didn't have effective data and you weren't able to use it in a timely or even rational way to determine whether or not it would be more cost-effective for taxpayers and, frankly, more beneficial to veterans if you either added healthcare resources, medical providers to the VA system, or went to the private sector. And even when veterans were sent to the private sector, there's not been this cost-benefit analysis. How are we as members of Congress to determine how best to deploy the resources? And we're talking about a fundamental promise that we've made to our veterans. We want to get this right.
I think that the first point of order is to get the wait time scheduling problem resolved. And once that is done, you'll have an accurate idea of just how many people need to seek care from a non-VA provider. And I think to do that, again, I keep coming back to oversight. Not only does the system, a number of fixes have to be made, but basically somebody needs to look at it and you know, at the first line supervisory level and make sure that it's being carried out the way it's supposed to. Even if it's new things are initiated, those things need to be checked over time.
So you mentioned about getting to the crux of the scheduling, because obviously it's a pretty inefficient system. We've learned about 50% no-shows. Are you familiar with the DoD process that they have, a patient-centered infrastructure where the patient themselves can go online? It's a web-based system. They can schedule an appointment. They can refill a medication. Are you familiar with that, and would you recommend that type of process to the VA? And do you think it would impact this scheduling fiasco that we're worried about right now?
I am not. I heard you mention that earlier, and I thought it was very intriguing. We have not done any work on the DOD side.
Yeah, I would just say to Mr. McTofsky, I highly recommend this approach. I've just learned about it myself today, but it seems as though it would be, particularly with our recent vets that are used to using this system in the DOD, that you could just cut right to the crux of the matter in terms of not only scheduling the appointments in a timely way and in an effective way where they would be likely to show up, but that they could change appointments, that you could get them the notices of the appointment coming. So my time has expired. I apologize, Mr. Chair, but thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Kuster. Mr. O'Rourke, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you,